It's because I think though the first policy came in 2002, at that point of time, I feel that there was not much of a momentum because the grassroots organizations were not allowed to set up community radio stations at that time. Only educational institutions could set up. So what happened that in 2006, when the NGOs were eventually allowed to set up community radio station, this entire community radio movement, it kind of gathered a lot of momentum. And then you started hearing voices from every part of the country, saying that we would also like to set up. I think the process became a bit more decentralized. There was a greater awareness generation. Ministry also kind of, started a number of awareness workshops, and those workshops started only from 2007. Before 2007, there were no awareness workshops. So from 2007 till now, Ministry has organized more than 35 workshops in every part of the country. So whether it is Andamans or it is Assam, or you take up West Bengal or whatever, throughout the country these workshops have been organized. That was a thing. I think it's only after that this entire thing started gathering momentum, and people kind of, when they saw these small stations doing such a wonderful work, many people also got inspired. And yes, I think another reason why we could not have many community radio stations is also because the licensing procedure is a bit complicated, and it takes a lot of time for anybody to kind of get a license to operate a community radio. There are so many clearances involved, and I think because of these roadblocks, it took a very long time for this entire movement to kind of come up to the place where it is now. I think the community radio movement is very reflective of the society that we live in. It actually mirrors the society, so to say. And this I personally feel that if you take the example of Tamil Nadu, all development indicators are definitely much better than what it is in North. You take the awareness about education, you take awareness about health, you take community empowerment. It is much, much more in southern states than it is there in the northern state. And community radio is no different. It is only mirroring the society where it operates. And that is the reason that in areas where, like for example, you take Bihar, you take Madhya Pradesh, you take Rajasthan, take Northeast, you find that the movement is not that strong over there. Though I'm surprised that Uttar Pradesh has a large number of stations, but it is not commensurate with the size of the state. If you look at the size of Uttar Pradesh, it should definitely have many more community radio stations than it has now. See, unfortunately, so far, the entire emphasis is on the growth and the support to CR. And because it is, the numbers are still so small that it is important to kind of push that many more CRs come up. And if you see the analysis of these stations that have come up, you'll find that maximum stations have actually become operational in the last 3.5 years. So that's a very, that's the time when, it's a very little time for anybody to kind of make an impact. But however, after being in place for 3 years or so, this probably is the right time for the community radios to look at their listenership, look at the kind of impact that they are making. And that is why Ministry is also proposing that we should have a kind of a program in place to evaluate the impact the community radios have made in the areas where they have existed for more than 2 years now. So we would be doing it in the coming years to come. Yeah, we actually, the kind of feedback we get from the community radio stations from all over the country, our interaction also, and even the field situation it shows clearly that though Ministry has issued more than 363 permissions, only 130 CRs have come into being, and out of them only 40 odd CR stations are from the NGO sector. Maximum CRs have come in the educational institutions. It's also because of the fact that educational institutions have some kind of funding available to them, which is not actually available to the NGOs and the societies. So the reason that many CRs are not becoming operational in our country is due to lack of funding and due to lack of financial support. So ministry has thought about bringing a kind of a project, a scheme, where a kind of a startup support could be given to the community radio stations so that they could start up and then take action to stand on their own. So we are proposing in the 12th 5-year plan, in the forthcoming plan, that some kind of a funding, maybe to, as Minister announced yesterday, about 175 crores rupees is something that we are looking at for 5-year allocation to support almost 100 community radio stations every year. But there is a rider to it. This is only a proposal, and the Planning Commission has to give its approval. But I'm sure that something would definitely positively come out of it. No, I think, I don't think there is a lack of any kind of a commitment or lack of willingness. It may be some kind of a training and capacity building which is required for the communities to, to become in charge of the stations. We feel that time has come when the communities themselves should be in the forefront of running the community radio stations, but it is not going to happen overnight because it will destabilize the entire process. So we definitely are thinking of doing a kind of a very specialized training, a specialized capacity building program, skill development workshops, etc., so that the capacities of these communities are built up to operate their CR stations more professionally and efficiently and without any problems. No, I think what Secretary Information and Broadcasting said yesterday actually is absolutely essential for strengthening this entire community radio movement in India. We have made quite a good progress, but when I say good, I'm not saying it is extraordinary or it is excellent. So we have a long way to go. He said that there is a need to simplify the procedure for licensing a bit further, so that the period of processing of applications could be reduced even further. Right now, from about a year, we have brought it down to 4 to 5 months, but we are looking at a time frame of about 1 to 2 months. 2 months when people should be able to get their clearances. We are also looking at several other initiatives. In addition to the state funding for setting up community radio stations, we are seriously looking at a content sharing platform which One World Asia already runs, which is highly successful and many people upload their content. What I like about this entire initiative is that it is free from any copyrights and it is open source, and anybody can upload and anybody can download and benefit from it. So we would like to encourage a platform like this, and we would like to partner with them. So this is also another plan, that can we expand this platform that we already have and make even the government ministries and departments upload their content, especially the content which is important from the development perspective. So we have a plan to do that. We also have plans to, as I mentioned earlier, to start specialized training programs, skill development programs, and very importantly, to go over to those states where there is no single radio station at this point of time. So states, especially in Northeast, which remain uncovered, we would like to kind of go over there and start community radio stations. Basically, we would like to grow not only in numbers but also in quality and strengthen the democratic fabric of our country. This time the Sammelan is bigger and better. It is definitely bigger because we have, last time we had, about 80 participants from the community radio stations. This time we have 111 community radio stations participating. So in terms of participation, it is definitely good, because we need more and more people from the grassroots to come and participate. And I see a qualitative difference in the discussions that we have had. Why? Because I find that people are talking about sustainability, people are talking more about the quality of content, and the paradigm shift which I see is that people are talking about community ownership of the radios. That is something which I find is absolutely an amazing kind of a discussion, because there's no point in someone else holding on to the license if it is not the actual community which is operating it. So the dialogue and the discussion has started, which is quite good. And tomorrow we have a session where we are going to discuss the community radios in areas which are affected with Naxalism, and also community radios' role in disaster management. So these are new things which I see happening this time. National awards have been introduced this time for the first time, though last time awards were given, but they were from SEMCA. So national awards are being given, which is, I'm sure, would inspire many more community radio stations to go towards better and better quality. And national awards are, it's not only a trophy, but it is also a cash prize, which is 50,000 for first, 30,000 second, and 20,000 for third. So, this money they can utilize for buying some kind of an equipment, or they can put this money back into CR, and we hope that it will be quite useful to them. So I find that the participation is extremely beautiful, very participatory, but the complaint is that people want to have many, much more discussion, for which unfortunately we don't seem to be getting enough time. At this point of time, we are not suggesting anything new. We are only enforcing or reinforcing what is already there in the policy. The policy very clearly says that the NGOs and the educational institutions are custodians of the license on behalf of the community. The real power lies with people. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And I think everybody should understand it from day one. It shouldn't happen that we do not have an exit plan at all. And the license or the permission can never be forever with the organization. It will defeat the entire purpose. So what we are trying to start from this time onwards is a discussion as to how this entire process of shifting towards community could take place. There are certain technical issues which need to be sorted out, but it is very much a doable process. I think, see, at this point of time, if you look at community radio movement, why it is different? We have 245 commercial FM channels at this point of time. We have more than 800 commercial television channels. So we have a huge broadcasting thing which is happening outside. There is an onslaught of the broadcasting material on you. But why that is not that important? What is more important is what community radios are broadcasting, because they are broadcasting to further the development agenda of the community, of the people. That's why they are important. So when we talk about this development agenda, it can't be complete unless we talk about convergence with various key ministries like health, education, women and child, to talk about nutrition, and so several other ministries like legal ministries for legal empowerment. So these kind of dialogues are absolutely essential, so that the content which these ministries have kind of made, the funding which they have made, should be available to the radio stations, so that they can use it in the format, in the language, the way the community want to convey it. So that is an absolutely essential thing, and that is the reason that a dialogue kind of a thing is absolutely essential with the key ministries. And we have already started discussions with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Ministry of Women and Child Development. And I'm sure that in coming few months, there would be some kind of a concrete action plan we would have to, by these ministries to work with the community radio stations.